Archangel Michael warns the enemy hid your miracle. Don't skip this message, because something huge is about to change, and you need to know what's really going on. Pay close attention, chosen one. You're not just having another day today. In the next 3 days, something big will happen in your life, and it starts as soon as you start listening. You weren't just lucky to find this. Someone led you here. This important moment hasn't passed you by, whether you're hearing it at the beginning of today, in the middle, or even in the last few hours. It found you where you are. Everything has been quietly set up so that this message can reach you now. That's because what's coming can't land if you're not paying attention, are distracted, or are all over the place. This is for the part of you that came here. What I'm about to say will explain why you've been feeling weird and restless for weeks. The big change you've been waiting for is already here, and it's for you. Stay with me, because what's going on these 3 days goes back further than words can say. Old wisdom knew about a different kind of time than the kind we keep track of with clocks and calendars. A time that doesn't just tick from morning to night. They called this a different kind of time. Time that feels important, time that was set aside before any of us were born for certain people and moments. For you, today is the time that was set. There are no charts or numbers I can show you to back this up. You have to stay with me for a while to really feel it. Like how your body knows it's going to rain before it does. Some deep insights come from somewhere other than your mind. These feelings come from deep inside you, and the one that brought you here is one of them. I want to tell you exactly what I'm bringing into this space for you, before we go any further. What's on the other side of this message is important to you, because what I'm about to say isn't just some vague spiritual thoughts. It's exact and clear. I'm going to show you 5 subtle signs that this unique time is already having an effect on your life. These are signs that not many people talk about, because they aren't obvious. I will tell you an old story from a holy book about a man whose 3rd day changed everything he had been waiting for. I will also give you the old Hebrew words that describe this exact pattern in time. It will take you less than 75 minutes over the next 72 hours to follow this simple plan for receiving. It will help your body and mind get ready for what's really coming. I'll also tell you about a second practice that almost no spiritual teacher talks about. It helps you appreciate this unique time by noticing not only what's new, but also what's quiet in your life. And really close to the end, I want to say something to you that I think will stick with you long after this message is over. Follow me. Don't leave in the middle. This is for people who will see it through to the end. Please remember this as you continue to think about it. When people hear about a 3-day window like this one, they often forget this. You are in a special time, no matter if today is the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd day. It's not too late, it's not too early. You're on time. If you come in the middle, this window isn't a door that locks behind you at midnight on the 3rd day. This window is a feeling, a certain kind of power. You stepped into this message as soon as you started to listen to it. You are now in it. Put aside whatever was going on in your week before this message arrived. No matter where you came from to get here, that trip helped make this special time possible for you. Don't miss this. You can only do it. What do you think about this question as we go on? Why are some 72-hour periods different from others? Most days go by quickly, like water running through your hands. They get through. They don't leave anything. You get up. You do the things you always do. You sleep. You wake up again. Most of the time, that's how things should be. Every day shouldn't feel important all the time. There would be no heavy days if every day was heavy. But every once in a while, time itself does something different. Things can change in just 72 hours during this short window of time. Usually, it takes a year for things to change. A window through which what was being built in secret and out of sight finally shows itself. A window through which the heavens, or whatever you call the wisdom, that has been making plans for you, select to give you something they've been holding on to for a long time. This is less strong on the first 3 days of every new month. People in the past knew it. They made ceremonies out of it. They paid attention at the beginning. The first 3 days of today, on the other hand, hold something much more important for you. The rest of this message will explain why and what you should do with it. The original Hebrew text from a long time ago talks about something that almost all spiritual traditions talk about in some way. Ve biketz. It's hard to say exactly the same thing in English. The only phrase that comes close is, "and it happened in the end." It only appears in very few places in the text. This phrase is used when something that has been going on for a long time finally breaks. This word is used when years have been squished down to hours. It's used right before a big release or breakthrough. That phrase is important to what's happening to you right now. So we'll come back to it later in this message. Just remember that Vehi biketz means, and it happened in the end, because the door to understanding opens before the big release. That door of understanding is the first of 3 you will go through today. The door of understanding is when the unseen enters your daily life and lets you know it's there. It doesn't have loud thunder. It comes slowly. It shows up in ways that you might not even notice. It comes in the form of 5 clear signs that, if you've been noticing any of them in the last few weeks, mean that you are in this unique time right now. I'm going to show you all 5. The first sign is having strong emotions that you can't explain. You may have seen something strange in the last few weeks. For no reason, tears appear when nothing sad is going on. A sudden wave of peace that shows up, stays for 10 minutes, and then goes away. Getting antsy for a short time in the middle of a normal afternoon. A heavy feeling in the morning that changes into hope by evening. Based on what you can see happening in your life, none of it makes sense. It hasn't been caused by anything. There was no conversation that set it off. There is no movie, song, or good reason. This shouldn't be happening to you by chance if it has been. This is the door to understanding that is already on its way to you. Thoughts that don't seem to have a clear cause can be signs that your spirit is sensing a change before your mind can name it. Thoughts aren't as honest as your true self. It's responding to what's going to happen, not to what is happening now. The second sign is more often seeing numbers that keep coming up and strange coincidences. It's not enough to just look at the clock every once in a while and see that it's 11:11. A sudden rush of them is what I mean. 1:13, it shows up on your phone, a receipt, and your license plate all in the same day. 444 shows up as soon as you open a screen. At the same time, it always draws your attention. Patterns that keep happening that science can't explain except by saying that the universe, Allah or God, depending on how you see it, is telling you things, reminding you or confirming them. It's not a coincidence when numbers start showing up in ways that don't make sense. The heavens are giving you little hints that they are watching over your week. They're telling you, "We see you. We're here. The time has come." A sudden change in what you can handle is the third sign. Things aren't okay like they used to be. People who used to make you a little tired now make you feel completely worn out. The talks you used to put up with are now almost unbearable. After living in the same place for years, it feels strange, like the air isn't right for you. You're still the same person you were before. No, you haven't become picky or biased. Something inside you is getting used to a new energy, and things that don't fit with that energy have to move away from you. Don't worry if this has been going on. Don't think that you're leaving anyone behind. It means that you are not the same person that those things were made for. Because you can handle different things now. Right now, something special is moving things around you. As the door opens, it does this. Coming across the same word, phrase, or song in different places is the fourth sign. Something a friend says makes you think all the time. After 2 hours, you read that same sentence in a completely different piece of writing. Those words show up in a song the next morning. There is no way that these three separate sources could be linked, but they all have the same message. That phrase or word is being brought to your attention. Repeating things in different situations that have nothing to do with each other is the only way the unseen can make sure you can't miss it. Pay close attention to that word. Read that sentence carefully. What has been showing up over and over again lately is part of the message this time is sending. A strong desire to be creative without a clear goal is the fifth sign. You want to start something, make something, write something, or build something. But you can't quite figure out what it is. There is a real need. The power is real. But it's not clear what you should do. Your hands want to move. You can't get rid of the thought that you need to say something inside you. But the specifics go away every time you try to get them. It's not aimless to do this. It's not avoiding things to do this. This is the energy before creation. That's how a chosen person feels when their calling changes and their new job isn't fully clear yet. When you feel restless, it means that the way you do things is about to change. You can't go back to the old way because it doesn't work for you anymore. 5 signs you have strong feelings that you can't explain. There are a lot of numbers and coincidences. A sudden change in what you can handle. The same word coming to you from different places. Needs to be creative without a clear goal. There is already a door of understanding in your life, if even 2 of these things have been happening to you lately. You are now in this unique time. You have the first day all to yourself. The signs don't say everything, though. The signs are just letting people know that the message is coming. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description, or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. What's going to happen now? But before I give you a full answer, I'd like to take a moment to talk to you directly. It's important that you understand what you're about to hear. Truth respects truth, so don't make it hard to understand just to sell something. At this very moment, two tools have been put in the way of those who have been chosen. The right tools for what's going on in your mind and body these 3 days. I just want to tell you about them now, so that nothing is left out, and they don't come as a surprise near the end of this message. The Genius Song is the name of the first one. The Wealth Signal is the name of the second one. A researcher named Dr. Robert Lake made the short audio file, The Genius Song, to wake up a certain frequency in the brain called gamma. Gamma was fully active when you were born, and it should stay active. However, around age 7, it tends to slow down. It comes from your inner child. It's the energy of being open and curious, like a small child taking things in easily. A different researcher, Dr. Stephen Newton, made a different audio called The Wealth Signal. It is meant to calm the stress frequency called beta that has been stopping what is rightfully yours from coming to you. It makes the path for receiving work. These tools don't compete with each other. They do their jobs in the right order. First, you become a child again. After that, the way is clear to receive. Tomorrow, I'll talk about both of these again, and tell you everything you need to know. For now, just know that they are there. If your spirit is already drawn to them, the link is in the description and the first comment below. Right now, what matters most is what's going on in your life over the next 3 days. Let's look at that again. The signs aren't enough to finish the work for the first day. The message is in the signs. How the rest of this special time works depends on what we do with that announcement. Most people miss this part. The door to understanding doesn't ask you to read signs. You are being asked to see yourself. The sky is putting these signs in your way right now, not to help you learn to spot patterns, so you can finally understand the inner truth, that the signs are showing you the truth about who you are right now. You don't need to wait. You are being timed. Listen to that again. The only sentence I want you to remember from this whole message is this one: you are not waiting. You are being timed. There's a change. We use the word waiting when we feel stuck and can't see a way out. When we think time is going by but it's not. When we think someone has forgotten about us or put us aside. When you wait, you feel cut off from what is meant for you. Being timed is not the same thing at all. If someone or something smarter than you is perfectly timing your inner readiness with the arrival of something outside you, you are being timed. For those who were timed every day, week, and month, when nothing seemed to change, meant they were doing very specific work. There was work that you couldn't see or measure, that was making it possible for what you've been hoping for to finally come true in a way that you could handle. You wouldn't have been able to hold it if it had come earlier. It would have changed you badly if it had come when you were still on the hunt, desperate, and trying to prove yourself. The arrival would have turned into another show. One more thing to handle. Another thing to add to the load that a soul was already carrying. Now, though, you are not the same person you were before. The one who has been quiet enough for this message to get through. The part of you that has enough room inside to hear what's being said. That is the one that can hold what is coming. And the sky doesn't send something big into a small life. They make sure the person who is getting something is ready first. What the silence was doing was making you ready. I'll tell you a story. I want to talk about a woman who got in touch with me a year ago. I'm not going to use her real name, because a lot of people have had similar experiences. I will tell you that she had been going through a hard time for 18 months. After 18 months of hard work, prayer, and striving, nothing seemed to be changing. People thought she was joking when she said she felt forgotten. She wasn't. A long time ago, she believed in a certain thing, a change in her job, recognition for work she had been doing without being noticed, and a change in her money situation that she couldn't see how to make happen on her own. The door wouldn't open no matter what she did. After 14 months of silence, she stopped putting in so much effort. This wasn't because she stopped believing, but because she was too tired to act like she did. Afterward, she told me that the last 4 months were different from the first 14 because they were quieter. Not sad, but empty. It was like the part of her that had been crazy finally calmed down. She said she couldn't see herself or anyone else. Then, at 3:47 in the afternoon on a normal Tuesday, the third day of a month she hadn't been paying attention to, the call came. It wasn't the call she had been picturing. It was bigger than the picture she had been able to make in her mind. The person on the other end of the line had been collecting her number for almost a year, ready to call her at the right time. When that person got to her, she said the strangest thing took place. She said it didn't surprise her. She knew who she was. The last 18 months felt like they were just a holding pattern. Finally, someone took off that pattern, showing her a life arrangement she couldn't have made but was always hers. That's what the understanding door does for the right soul on the right day, in the right window. She did not wait. She was being watched. I tell you that story because I know that part of you has been going through the same thing she has been going through. It might not be 18 months for you. It could be 6 months, 2 years, or 10 years for you. It doesn't matter how long it is. It still feels like the same time. You have faith in something that you can't make happen by yourself. You've been working on yourself. You are no longer performing. You are now in the quiet phase, which makes you feel like you can't be seen, but is actually a time to get ready. Now, today has put this message in your way. Please pay close attention to what I say. I'm not telling you that the call will come in at 3:47 today. That's not what I do for a living. I talk about what might happen. I am not aware of the specifics of how your shift will take place. From the bottom of my heart, I know that the way things are going for you, these 3 days is very similar to how her story went. Something is being sent, whether it comes as a call, a message, a release, a recognition, a turning point, or a clear inner knowing. There is a door of understanding open right now. What you're seeing isn't just signs either. It's clear to you that no one forgot about you. You were timed. The time was always on your side, never against you. And that time is being moved now. One more thing for you to take with you on this first day. When the door of understanding opens, a quiet identity comes to the surface. I want to name it because if I don't, you might miss what just happened to you. You are in charge of your own threshold. That's the part of yourself that the first day wants you to show. Not someone who just waits, doesn't take action, or tries to earn God's favor by being good enough. A gatekeeper is someone who watches over the door and lets people in or out. The person whose understanding helps things happen. A soul can't fully receive from this special time if it doesn't see itself as a part of the delivery. You are in charge of your own threshold. Hold that for a moment before we move on to the second day. When we move, the energy changes, and you will be asked to do different things. The first door to understanding is already open. And very few teachers will name what I'm about to name on the second day. Most people can't get ready for it, unless they really understand it. Today is the second day, and the weight changes in a way that is different from what you've been taught. You may have been taught as a child that big changes happen with thunder, celebration, and clear proof that everyone can see. The unseen, on the other hand, comes into your life in a quieter way. And the rules for the second day are different from what most spiritual teachings tell you about it. I'm going to show you everything. From the inside, I'll show you what the day of crossing is really like. I will demonstrate the specific resistance that tries to persuade you on day 2 that you are making the whole thing up. And I will also give you the practical plan for receiving that I promised earlier. It will take about 75 minutes to complete over 3 days. And it is the missing piece for almost every chosen one who saw an opportunity but couldn't grasp what was being offered. We are going to do it together. But I have something to say before we start the second day. I want to say something really important to you about your life before this message ends. I think it will stay with you long after you leave this space. I have something important to say to the version of you that is here right now. Follow me through what happens. The very end of this message was saved for people who read all the way through. You were changed by the first day, even if you didn't realize it. What you need to understand has already pushed against your life. There are signs. You have a name for yourself. This very important time has been set, but today is only the first day. There are very different tasks for you to do on the second day. But first, I want to remind you of a phrase from the quiet time I talked about at the beginning of this message. The peace and quiet you've had for weeks or even months. So quiet it seemed like there was nothing there. When you were being honest, the quiet made you wonder if things would ever change again. That silence wasn't nothing. It was the get-together. The gathering turns into movement on the second day. Things that were building up in your life that you couldn't see or measure start to come to the surface. The weight moves around. Things that were stuck start to come loose. The thing that was holding you back starts to let go, slowly at first. For those of you for whom today is the second day, you are the one walking through this doorway right now. Take slow steps. Take your time with this. You're at the start of something new if today is still the first day. What I'm about to say will get you ready for what comes next. If today is the third day, the crossing has already happened in you, even if you aren't aware of when it happened. Before this message ends, we'll name that moment together. No matter where you are at this very moment, what we're about to go through is for you. I want to show you how to cross the street. When most people hear the word breakthrough, they think of a big event, a loud arrival, or something that can be seen that changes everything. Afterward, a miracle that makes itself known. Changes in season aren't quite that loud though. It's not always clear what a crossing is. Moving of weight is what a crossing is. It's when something that had been pushing you for a long time stops doing so. Another strange thing about this weight transfer is that you don't always feel it. You don't feel its absence until after the fact. It's possible to forget that you're carrying a heavy bag. After carrying it for hours, you can move your shoulders. It gets easier for your body. The carrying goes back to normal. Then, when someone finally takes the bag away, you don't feel relieved at first. The first feeling is being lost. All of a sudden, your hands are empty, and you don't know what to do with your arms that don't need to hold anything. That's what day 2 does. It doesn't always make itself known. In the moment, it doesn't always feel like a win. At first, it often feels like something is missing. Like how the air around you feels different. It's like a tension you were used to is gone. The weight moves, and the lack of that weight is felt before the thing that was hidden under it shows up. Don't worry if, in the next few hours, you feel an odd emptiness. Do not think that something is wrong. The sound of the bag being taken from your hands is that emptiness. Your hands are still getting used to not having the bag on them. They are going to. That being said, first we need to respect the quiet of the lifting. Now I'm going to talk about something that almost no one in spiritual teachings talks about, because it makes people feel bad. Every time there is a breakthrough, there is also a counterforce. A certain kind of resistance that tries to make the person who has been chosen question whether or not they are really living in this unique time. Small, believable thoughts that show up at the wrong times are what it is. Some of the things it says are, "You're imagining this. You've done this before. You hoped for a window like this before and nothing happened. Don't get your hopes up." And, "This message is just words. The world will be the same tomorrow as it was yesterday. Please pay close attention. The voice in your head is not your common sense. We will fight that voice on the second day. The exact reason it starts is because the door is opening. When doors don't open, resistance doesn't waste energy on them. A soul that isn't about to cross over doesn't care about resistance. Right now, the fact that you are having doubts shows that the crossing is real. Yes, the doubt isn't proof that this special time was a lie. Let me say that again, because it's most important on the second day. This unique time is real because of the doubt. There would have been no resistance if nothing was changing. Resistance has always been the price that crossings have had to pay. No matter how big or small the step, everyone has had to go through doubt at some point. They move together. They're not enemies, they're friends. How should you deal with doubt when it comes up? No need to argue with it. Don't try to change its mind about anything. Don't try to add faith to it. Doubt doesn't want to be beaten. Doubt wants to be seen, called out, and then ignored. It's okay to have doubts while you're in this special time. At this point, you don't need to be sure. You have to be there for it. You can stand in the doorway with your hands shaking and still be in the doorway. You're not unworthy just because you're shaking. A soul can tell it's on holy ground when it starts to shake. People who were chosen never shake. These people have never crossed. Come with me. Take a deep breath. That part of our walk that was the hardest is over. I'm going to take you somewhere old now. For a moment. Picture yourself in a room made of stone that is a long way below the ground. The walls aren't smooth. The light comes in through a tiny hole the size of your hand. This room doesn't have a clock. There's no calendar. Changes in the light coming through the crack are the only way to tell time. There is a man in this room. His name is Joseph. He's been here for a long time. This is how long he has been there, written in Hebrew, a phrase that is very exact in a way that English has a hard time translating. 2 years of days is what the phrase means. In general, not 2 years. 2 years of exact days that were counted by hand. This phrase is used on purpose in the text. It doesn't just say 2 years and move on. It stops. It means that the man in the cell has lived through all of those days, one at a time. The days are still days. Even though they've added up to 2 years. Wait a minute. 2 years worth of days, or more than 600 separate mornings and evenings. Everybody feels the same as the day before. All of them told him to wake up in his cell again. To eat while in jail. To spend the night in the cell. To get up the next morning and do it all over again. He was locked up for a crime he didn't commit. Someone who said they would remember him had forgotten about him. He was meant to do something that was told to him when he was young. That call seemed so far away from where he was sitting in the stone room. He had had this dream since he was a child. The picture of his future that he had been given. It was impossible to match any of it with where he really was. Not at all. If we're being honest, most of us don't find this strange. We haven't really been in stone cells. But a lot of us have had long stretches of life that felt like cells we didn't choose. We all go through times when the calling we feel is so different from our everyday lives that we start to question whether the calling was really real. There are times when our dream doesn't match the room we're in at the moment. That was Joseph for 2 years and days. After that, the text tells us something takes place. I told you earlier in this message that the next part of his life starts with the original Hebrew phrase, Vehi Bekitz Hayamim. In the end, it did happen. The text does not say, and after a while, or, and in the end things changed. Instead, it uses a very specific structure that means, the end. Right at that moment. At the exact moment they had been waiting for, 2 years of days had come to an end. What happened right at the end? At that time, Pharaoh was the most powerful person in the world. He had a dream that he couldn't figure out. None of his advisors could figure out what it meant. The cupbearer remembered that he had been in prison with Joseph years before, but had forgotten all about him. He told Pharaoh about a prisoner who could read people's dreams. Soon after, Joseph was taken from his cell, bathed, dressed, and brought before the most powerful man in the world. In the kingdom of Egypt, he went from being a prisoner to being second only to Pharaoh in the same day. Time. In just one afternoon, something that had been impossible for 2 years became impossible to avoid. Please give that some serious thought. Joseph didn't do the thing that finally got him out of jail. He didn't plan to get out of jail. He didn't make Pharaoh dream that. He didn't think to himself when he woke up that morning, "Today is the day." From his cell, that morning looked just like any other morning. It was normal for the light to come through the crack. It was the same stone walls. He wasn't told anything. The sky had been busy though. The cupbearer's memory had been helped by the heavens. The stars had been helping Pharaoh fall asleep. The stars and planets had been planning when a kingdom would need a certain type of leader for a certain type of crisis. Joseph had also been changed by the heavens over the course of 2 years. He was now the type of man who could walk into a palace at noon and not feel lost. Everything that Joseph did in the cell was training for him. The waiting wasn't a sign of giving up, and it was training. The job wasn't the dream he had as a child. The task was the cell until it wasn't. In the court of Pharaoh, he couldn't have earned the promotion he got there. It had to be earned in the cell first. The heavens don't put the kind of weight that Joseph did in his later years on a person who hasn't been empty first. That emptying always takes place in stone rooms. It always does. There is no quick way to get out of the stone room. The only thing that can be done is walk through the stone room until it is no longer stone. And that day will come quickly when it does. Thank you for the Bekits. In the end it did happen. Now I want you to connect this story to your own life, to the time you've been having. to the years or months that have made you feel like you didn't want to be in that stone room. Whatever has been leaving you empty. The part of you that used to perform has been being stripped away by whatever. Who used to go after? Who used to show? The training is in that emptying. There's been no waste in any of it. There is nothing that has been missed. The sky doesn't forget about your days. The Hebrew text counts them one at a time, just like they do with Joseph's days. They know you. They know what you are becoming. They know exactly when what you've been learning will change into what you are being sent. And now is that time for you. This is what day 2 does. The cell stops being a cell on day 2. You can still see that the stone walls haven't changed. The light slit hasn't become wider that can be seen. On the outside, crossing morning looks like any other morning, but on the inside, everything has changed. It was remembered by the cupbearer. The right Pharaoh has been given the dream. It is now or never for the kingdom, and it is ready for what you bring. The moving of weight has begun. You might not feel it yet. That's okay. There have been many big crossings of the human spirit that happened before the soul even knew it. You will remember this time and understand what was going on below the surface. For now, all that is asked of you is to stay in the doorway and not move when resistance comes up. You should see doubt as proof of the door, not proof against it. Follow me. We've already come a long way together, and more lies ahead. Please allow me to think about this for a short time. You have been listening for a while. Please know that I understand what you're going through to be here. No matter what room you're in, or what your day has been like so far. No matter who you are, or what made you realize you could no longer perform. All of that stripping away is your training. You have everything you need. You are not being kept from anything, because you are not ready. You are right here, and that's enough. Deepen your breath a little more with this one. Just one. What we've talked about so far doesn't need to be used. All you have to do is be there for the next thing. That's it for now. Here's the useful part I promised you at the start of this message. Today, over the next few hours, you don't have to put in any effort. There is no need for you to do anything this time. At this point, it's asking you to clear the way, so that what's coming can land. Now I'm going to show you a certain way to receive that matches how you're feeling inside with what's coming in. It's what I'm calling the 72-hour receiving plan. There are 3 parts to it. For these 3 days, you have to give about 75 minutes of your time, which is spread out over 72 hours. That's it. You don't need to make time for this. To get to a mountain, you don't have to take a long trip. You don't have to fast, chant, or write in a certain way. You only need to do these 3 things slowly in small bits of time during the days you already have. I'm going to call the first part the quiet hour. Pick 1 hour over the course of the 3 days when you don't make any big decisions. Do not make any big decisions, or give anyone a yes or no answer about anything important. Do not make any money promises, make any changes in relationships, or answer messages that ask you to commit your time or energy. This hour is yours to do what you want. You could be cooking. You could be putting clothes away. You could be by a window. You might be driving on a road you know well. There's no need for a big ceremony at the hour. It only needs to not have to make any choices. The point is to let your mind and body rest for an hour without having to think about, choose, evaluate, or perform. 1 hour to get away from the part of yourself that has been making all the decisions for too many months without a break. Why does this work? The stress signal is linked to the way your nervous system has been making decisions. Beta is the name of the brainwave. The receiving path can't fully open as long as beta is in charge. Beta gets an hour off during the quiet hour, and when that hour is really quiet, that hour is enough to make a big change. I'm going to call the second part the short question. During the 3-day period, ask yourself one question out loud twice, when it suits you, in a soft voice that only you can hear. The question is, what do I need to let go of so that what is coming in has room to land? Don't say anything. That's the most surprising part, so I want to say it again. Don't say anything. Take a moment to think about the question you just asked. Let anything that comes up come up. Do not go after it. Do not write it down. Forget about it. Do not try to change what will happen. This works because answering consciously is another kind of effort, and the receiving path doesn't respond to effort. The path responds to making room. When you ask the question but don't answer it, you make a small hole in your inner structure. The answer then comes up from deep inside, which isn't always what your conscious mind would have picked. It could be a name. An old grudge could be the answer. It could be a habit. You may have been holding on to a version of yourself that is the answer. What comes up is being asked to go away, so that what comes in has room. The answer doesn't force you to do anything right away. You just need to know it. Just knowing starts the release. I'm going to call the third part, naming. Say out loud one thing you have been waiting to receive at least once during this special time. Just one. List less, not a sentence, something. Use simple language. Do not make deals with the sky. Don't say why you deserve it. Do not write down the reasons. Choose the clearest sentence you can think of to describe the thing. Then, let that sentence settle in the air around you. This works because there is a certain energy connection. When the name of what you're saying, and what you want to receive is the same, the sky has something special planned for you. That thing has a name. The link between the two is complete when you name it in your voice, even if it's soft and you're by yourself. Stop being a soul that waits in silence for something that hasn't been named. You turn into a soul that knows what it is you came here to receive. Naming is what ties things together. There are 3 parts: the name, the short question, and the quiet hour. About 75 minutes of time over 72 hours. Getting only asks you to do that. They don't have to be done in a certain order. You don't have to do them at a certain time. You don't have to be in a holy place to do them. You only need to do them somewhere right now, in this special time of your life. Before we end this part of the message, I have one more thing to tell you. I feel like a moment is being put on my heart for you right now. Let me give it to you straight out, the way it was given to me. My child, I didn't delay you. I slowed down the world around you, so that you could be the one to carry what is now coming. You thought I was hidden. I wasn't hidden. I was putting up. You believed that no one had remembered you. We didn't forget about you. You were being made. I don't want you to enter through the first day. I want you to stand in the door on the first day. I'll move you on the second day. On the third day, you'll get it. I'm not late. I have been exact. Please receive what I send. Take a moment to think about that. That's all you need to do with those words. You only need to know that they were given to you on a day when most people will never hear what you just heard. That is the only part of the door that is there. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. We have gone over what we learned on day 1. We've walked across the second day's crossing. You have been through one of the oldest stories about the third day in any holy book. We have given it the Hebrew weight it deserves. We gave you the receiving plan that will help you through the rest of this special time and the days that will follow. We also had a direct address moment together that I hope will stay with you. There is still one day left though. Not as many people think. But the third day isn't when everything is set in stone. It comes from something deeper than what you know about breakthroughs. There's a certain part of day 3 that I haven't talked about yet in this message, and not many teachers ever do. It's the part that turns a special time from something you just watched happen to something you actually crossed. Next, I want to take you to that layer. Follow me. The most important part of this message is still to come. We have walked through the understanding of day 1. We have walked through the crossing of day 2. Now, I want to take you into the part that almost no one names. The third day isn't when everything is sealed in the way most people think. It's sealed deeper than that. Most people, when they hear about a third day, expect a grand finale, a loud arrival, a clear event that announces, in words anyone can understand, that something has ended. That kind of ending exists, but it's the surface level. It's what completion looks like to someone watching from the outside. The chosen ones understand completion differently. The chosen ones know that completion happens when something that started unseen finally becomes visible in the world. The third day is when the unseen breaks through to the surface, and it does so in 3 specific ways at the same time, even if only one of them is obvious at first. I want to walk you through each of those 3 layers. The first layer of completion happens inside you. Somewhere during this special time, often without warning, a deep knowing settles in you that wasn't there before. It's not a thought. It's not something you figured out logically. It's a quiet inner certainty that arrives in a single moment, and once it arrives, The part of you that had been struggling with a particular question simply stops struggling. The struggle was the noise. The settling is the silence beneath that noise. It might come while you're doing something completely ordinary. Standing in the kitchen, driving on a road you've driven 1,000 times, sitting up in bed in the early morning before the day begins. The setting will be unremarkable. The settling will not. You will know something you didn't know an hour earlier. You will know it without needing proof. You will know it the way you know your own name. And you won't need to argue for it. Because the part of you that needed outside evidence to trust an inner knowing has already been emptied out over the long season behind you. That emptying made room for the settling. If, over these 3 days, you experience an inner knowing that arrives without warning, don't ignore it. Don't run it past every part of your mind for approval. The first layer of completion is your soul finally hearing itself with no interference. The interference is gone because the path cleared. The second layer of completion happens in the group of people around you. The third day, for most chosen ones in a special time like this, brings a quiet rearrangement in relationships. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like one person who has been quiet in your life for a while suddenly reaches out. Sometimes it looks like a person who has been overly present in your life suddenly becomes harder to reach. Sometimes it looks like a single conversation that ends a chapter neither of you has been able to close on your own. Sometimes it looks like a name appearing in a situation that has nothing to do with you, and yet you know, the moment you notice it, that the name holds meaning for what's coming. This special time doesn't announce these moments with bells. It places them quietly, like envelopes left on a table for you to find. Some you will open right away. Some you won't understand until weeks later, when the shape of what's being built around you becomes clear enough to read. If, over these days, the people in your life seem to be shifting in small, unexplainable ways, that is the second layer of completion at work. This special time is rearranging your relationships, so that what is approaching has the right people in the right places to receive it with you. This time cares about who is around you, because what is being delivered isn't delivered to one soul alone. It is delivered into a context, and that context has to be ready. The third layer of completion happens in the real world. This is the layer most people are watching for, and the layer that confuses them when they don't see it the way they expected. The real world layer of completion over a third day doesn't always arrive like a thunderclap. Sometimes it arrives as one tangible thing, moving in a direction it hasn't moved in for months, a door that has been shut in a particular area of your life either opening, or you getting clear instructions you can't ignore to stop pushing on that door, because it was never meant for you. Both of these are completion. Both of these are the third layer doing its work. The release of a door that was never yours is just as much a completion as the opening of a door that always was. The chosen ones learn to receive both with the same thankfulness. The releases are the soil being cleared. The openings are the planting. You can't have a real harvest without both. If, over these 3 days, one tangible thing moves, even a small thing, don't dismiss it as small. Smallness, in the language of the heavens, is often how something massive begins. The third layer arrives in motion, and the motion almost never starts where you were looking for it to start. It starts where you weren't looking. 3 layers working at the same time: inner, relational, real world. The completion of the third day isn't just one of these alone. It's all 3 working together, with one of the 3 being more obvious than the other 2. The other 2 are working beneath the surface, and you will see their work later, when the shape of the new season becomes clear. This special time hasn't asked for you to perfectly understand all of this right away. It has only asked for you to show up. Wherever in these 3 days this lands for you, the door of completion is doing its work. Whether you are in the early hours of day 1, and reading these layers as a guide, or in the middle of day 2, and recognizing them as already happening, or in the final stretch of day 3, and understanding what has been going on throughout your week, the door doesn't wait for the perfect chosen one. The door meets the chosen one who is present. Now, I want to give you the second practice I promised you. This one is harder for most people to accept, because it goes against how almost every spiritual teacher you've ever heard talks about understanding. Most spiritual content tells you to look for what's new, to track new arrivals, to watch for patterns appearing, to notice the things coming into your life. I'm going to ask you to do the opposite. I want you to track what has become quiet. This is the recognition inventory, and it's one of the most reliable tools chosen ones have for confirming a breakthrough is real. Because the most truthful sign of a window like this one isn't what is showing up. It is what is finally stopping. The heavens rearrange a season by clearing things out before they build. The clearing happens before the building, and the clearing is most often invisible to anyone who is only looking forward. The recognition inventory has 3 steps. I'm going to walk you through each one, and you can do all 3 from wherever you are right now. You don't have to write anything down, although you can if you want. You don't have to leave the spot you're in. You only have to use the inner attention you already have. The first step of the recognition inventory is the absence list. In your mind, I want you to think about 3 things that have been constantly present in your life for a long time. These aren't new things. These are things that have been there so long you've stopped seeing them as unusual. A constant worry that used to greet you every morning. A constant craving that used to pull at you most evenings. A constant way of talking with a particular person that has played out the same way for years. A constant anxiety that used to wake you up in the middle of the night. Pick 3. Now, ask yourself this: in the last 14 days, have any of these become unusually quiet? I'm not asking if they're gone forever. I'm not asking if you've fixed them. I'm asking whether one or more of them has been less noticeable, less constant, less demanding than it has been for as long as you can remember. Most chosen ones, when they truly do this inventory honestly, discover that at least one of the 3 has gone surprisingly silent in the last 2 weeks. They hadn't noticed because the silence of an old companion is harder to notice than the arrival of a new one. If something has gone quiet for you, that is the door of completion working ahead of time. The second part of the recognition inventory is giving the quiet a name. I want you to do something easy once you know what has dropped silent. Be very quiet and say it out loud just once. No one else needs to hear it. That's all you need to say. I see that this has gone quiet, and I'm going to let that mean something. In most spiritual practices, you are asked to declare what you want to happen, or call things in. What has stopped? The recognition inventory asks you to name what has stopped and witness the clearing instead of demanding the building. Just the name is enough. You don't need to make deals with things that are quiet. You don't need to say thanks for leaving. There's no need to do anything special around the silence. All you have to do is admit that it happened, and that it has meaning. The leaving alone is the third step of the recognition inventory. This is the hardest part for most people, because their minds want to do one of two things. As soon as they notice that something is quiet, to get the thing back, it needs to figure out why it left. To find a new thing to replace the thing that left, it needs to fill the silence with something else. Also, don't do either. Just leave the absence alone. Don't say anything. Don't look into it. Do not question it. You don't have to figure out why this pattern isn't happening right now. As an investigation goes on, the silence is pulled back into the noise it just left. Honoring the silence is the last part of the practice. A season change means that the heavens clean up before they build. The building can only be given to the chosen ones, who pay attention to the clearing. The recognition inventory is what you use to keep track of the clearing. 3 steps: making a list of absences, giving the quiet a name, and leaving them alone. Do these 3 steps once in the next few hours. It will take you 10 minutes to do them all. They're not meant to fix anything. They are meant to help you get in touch with what the third day is really doing in your life below the level you have been watching at. Come with me. We're getting to the most important part of this message, because I will show you what is finally being delivered over these 3 days. There is something about your body and mind right now that will determine whether what is being delivered lands or not. Almost no one in spiritual teachings talks about what I'm about to say because it sounds too scientific for a holy message. For the chosen, though, it's the last piece they need. Take what comes next out of this message, if you do nothing else. There is a reason why some chosen ones have to go through times like these, and watch, as things that were meant to be theirs slip away. It's not that the window didn't show up. They were picked. That's not the case. The window did its job. They were picked to catch what was being sent, though they needed to be in a certain mental state, which they weren't. Now I'm going to teach you about that state. Your brain can be in 2 different energies that vary in how well they let you receive what this window is sending. They're not just ideas in the air. They have been sized. They have been written down. Scientists in well-known labs have been studying them for decades, and they are easy enough to understand in just a few minutes. Gamma is the name of the first energy. The child's mind is made of gamma. It's the energy of being open and curious. of knowing what's possible but not knowing what it is yet. A child's brain is in gamma when they see something for the first time. The kid isn't thinking about it. This kid isn't filtering. The child is getting. Gamma is the energy of receiving without any help. Gamma was fully turned on when you were born. Every person is. One person doesn't have a child's mind, and another person doesn't. Each and every nervous system that has ever been born is in this state. But something starts to happen to most of us around age 7. It has a name that scientists have found. This effect is known as the decline effect. As kids, we learn through schools, social pressures, and early lessons about what kinds of imagination are okay, and what kinds are not. And these things slowly start to dim gamma. The child's thoughts calm down. The amount of gamma that most people have at age 4 is a tiny fraction of what it is when they are adults. This isn't a moral flaw. You didn't do anything wrong. It comes with the territory of growing up in places that benefit from adults who aren't too interested, open, or able to see beyond the present. This is what happens when you ask a child's mind to act like a small adult over and over again. Because of this, you feel that fuzzy, tight, slightly disconnected feeling that almost all adults have without even realizing it. The feeling that you were aliveter before. That thing used to be bright but is now dull. That magic used to be simple, but it's now very hard to find. It's those feelings that point to the decline effect. You stop being a child, and almost no one ever told you that you could become one again. Alpha is the name for the second energy. Alpha is the energy of receiving. More specifically, it's the energy that lets things reach you that your conscious mind hasn't seen yet. Alpha is the link between what you can see on the surface and what you can't see in the deeper layers below. When Alpha is strong, there is a clear path between you and what is coming at you. You can catch what comes your way. What is being sent to you can be held. But Alpha has a problem in the world we live in now. Beta is the energy of stress, quick analysis, constant evaluation, and survival mode. Beta is fine. Beta is important. The issue is that beta has become too active in almost all adult brains around the world. Beta stays at a level it was never meant to be at, because of worries about money, notifications all the time, having to make decisions all the time, and anxiety in the background. Beta can't do its job when it's in charge. There is a block in the receiving path. There is no longer a bridge between you and what is coming. You now understand what most adult chosen ones are going through, even if no one tells them what it is. The decline effect has made the child's mind less sharp. Both ways of getting the signal have been blocked by the stress signal. These two things have been going on behind the scenes of your life, which is why a lot of spiritual practice feels like it almost works, but doesn't quite. The drill was real. The lessons were real. The energies that were receiving it were not ready to fully pick up what was being sent. This is what most chosen ones have been missing for a long time. You were just as chosen as the soul who made a big step forward last year. You have not been prayed for less. You're not behind. At this very moment, you are using a nervous system that has been dulled by years of training. This dulling is what is stopping the receiving from finishing. For many years, scientists at MIT and Princeton have been studying the gamma frequency and what makes it go off. For decades, scientists at Stanford and Boston universities have studied what makes the change from beta to alpha, and how to make it happen again. It was found that receiving is not the same as working hard by two very different research traditions in two very different parts of the world. There are two energies that control receiving, and both of them can be brought back. When a window like the one you're in opens, it's not a question of whether something is being sent. Something is being brought to you. This is about whether your inner system is ready to receive the message. I will tell you in a moment what has been put in the way of those chosen this season to deal with both energies at the same time. But first, I want you to be fully aware of where we are. Before I go into the last part of this message, I want to quickly go over what we have done together. To put it simply, here's what's been going on for the past 3 days. Today is the start of a real 72-hour turning point for you. This point of change has 3 doors: the door of understanding, the door of crossing, and the door of reaching the end. Something that has been building up in your life for months or years has been delivered by something that you haven't seen. You've been picking up on real signs. It wasn't nothingness that you were sitting in silence. It was the gathering, and now the gathering is ending. Right now, you're not being asked to put in any effort. It is the reception. You need 2 things in your body and mind to be able to receive an inner child that hasn't shut down completely, and a receiving path that isn't blocked by adult stress. Nowadays, most of us have lost both because of how our lives are different. Both can be brought back, though. It's not a figure of speech to say, bring them back. It's measurable to bring them back. It has been shown in real laboratories that bringing them back is a real change in real energies. What I want to show you next are 2 tools that have been put in front of certain people at this exact time, because the gods know it's a special one. These aren't just any products. They're not just any. They're not the same as the meditation app you've already tried, the course you bought but didn't finish, or the affirmation practice that worked for 2 weeks but then stopped. These tools are made to fit the way things are going for you these 3 days right now. They were created by 2 researchers who never met. Each spent decades working on a completely different question, but their results led them to the same conclusion. That's what I'm going to describe to you now. That's not all. What's next is the part of this message that almost no one wants to say straight out, without any sugar coating or hiding. I'm going to make it clear. There is honor in truth. Let me say what is real now, before more time goes by. A short time ago, before we got into what's going on over the next 3 days, I mentioned 2 tools: the Genius Song and the Wealth Signal. I told you I would talk more about them later. Now is the time for that return. You are the person we are talking to right now. What I'm about to say will only make sense if you know where you came from. You were not born like most people. I'm not trying to make you look good. There's a spiritual message at the beginning of that sentence, so I'm not saying it. People in the past called you a child of light. because your nervous system was set up when you were born in a way that made both gamma and alpha fully active at the same time. Being curious, being open, having magic, and having the energy to receive and catch what is sent from beyond the visible. Both working together without putting in any effort or trying to do something. Every single one of the chosen was once a child of light. A teacher told me a long time ago that you will never get into the kingdom of heaven unless you change and become like a child. Not many people knew he was talking about energy. When you were little, your nervous system was in a certain state, one in which it could receive without filtering, be open without needing protection, and let what was meant for you reach you, because nothing in you was blocking it. After that, the world started to change you. Around age 7, the decline effect began to dim your inner child. When you became an adult and took on more responsibilities, the stress signal started to block your receiving path. When you grew up and are now an adult reading this message, both of those feelings were pushed down. It was like your inner child had shut up. The way that what is yours actually gets to you was blocked off. This is the problem that the modern chosen one has, and doesn't know what to call it. It's not possible to really receive when you are calm and open. You can't hold on to a chance when you finally get it, because your inner child is too tired to keep the wonder alive. It seems like you're almost there but never quite make it. You can almost remember the magical state of childhood, but can't quite get back. No matter how hard you try, you can't get it back. That's why each tool you've used so far has only fixed half of the problem. It couldn't be done with just meditation. Visualization wasn't enough to make it happen. It couldn't be done just with the manifestation course. They weren't losers. They were not whole. They only got one of the two energies you needed back, never the other. The things that have been put in the way of the chosen ones at this very moment address both of them in the right order. Let me show you the first of the two tools now. The first tool is for drawing the child's attention to something else. Scientists who study energy call it gamma. The Genius Song is the name of it. The Genius Song is a digital audio file that lasts for 7 minutes. You put on headphones and listen to it. That's all you need to do. No one is chanting. You can't keep a journal. You can sit in any way you want. You don't need to remember any instructions. All you have to do is put on the headphones. Close your eyes if you want to, and let the sound do its thing. What did it set out to do? A scientist named Dr. Robert Lake made it. He has spent 34 years studying how brain waves work. To be more specific, he has spent decades researching gamma energy, and why it always decreases in adult populations. He used research from MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other top research institutions in his work. It was clear from all the research that gamma can be woken up again. The decline effect won't last forever. The child can get their mind back. Brain entrainment is the technology he used to make the Genius Song. In particular, a binaural delivery in which two slightly different sound frequencies are played into each ear. As your brain tries to combine the two, it naturally enters the gamma state. It's not a trick. You're not just making this up. It's possible to measure this change in brain energy, which starts with the first listen, and gets stronger over time. What is it that it does for you? It starts to undo the effect of the decline. It makes you feel like a child again. The first few times you listen, you may feel a softness coming back, a subtle clarity that wasn't there before, and silence where there used to be noise. Most people will slowly feel more curious, open, and amazed over the next few weeks. These are things that adult life had quietly taken away. The inner child doesn't say that she's back. One morning, she shows up in a thought you used to be able to have. And you know she's back. I'm not going to promise that the first time you listen, you will become a genius. The tool doesn't work that way. That's not what I mean by that. It brings back a natural energy in your nervous system that has been low for most of your adult life. That's where the wave of restoration starts. As the child's mind wakes up again, this is the first wave. There may be one more song that Dr. Lake gives you when you buy the Genius song. He does this to keep the child's mind safe after it has been healed so that the world can't dim it again. If you need it, your spirit will tell you, forget about it. You should go for it if your gut tells you to. If not, the first one is fine. I'm now going to tell you the part that almost no one gets right. The piece that links the first and second tools. The decline effect is turned around by the Genius song. The child's mind starts to work again. Curiosity comes back. Openness comes back. People are beginning to notice the magic in small things again. That's real. That's what the first wave does. But I need to tell you something that most spiritual teachers don't say, because it gets in the way of the simple story they want to sell. The work isn't done when the child's mind wakes up. Sometime in the first few weeks of using the Genius song, you'll start to notice something odd. Your child has come back to you. You can feel it. You're more open than a long time ago. You're more interested. You notice the little things more. Still, when the right thing comes along, when the chance you've been waiting for comes up, or when the door to the thing you've been believing for starts to open, you find that you can't quite reach for it. The kid is awake now. The child can't get yet. There is a reason for this, and it has been studied for the same number of decades as gamma by a completely different group of researchers in a completely different lab on a completely different question. This second group of researchers found that there is an energy that is different from gamma, that controls whether you can actually receive what comes your way. It's the energy I called alpha before. What's wrong with almost all adults who have been chosen is that beta has blocked alpha. This path is blocked by the stress signal. The way for the child inside to receive is still blocked, even though the child has woken up. The child inside you woke up, but she still can't get what was promised. This is the best the first wave can do by itself. If the second wave doesn't come along, the work stays at this level. The child's mind is awake again, but she can't get what's rightfully hers, because she is receiving in an adult way, which is survival mode. There is way too much beta energy. Your nervous system has been trained to work on the energy of striving instead of the energy of receiving by all the overthinking, anxiety, and constant judging of what is enough and what isn't under the surface of every quiet moment. There is a researcher who has spent his whole career mapping this issue. His name is Stephen Newton, Dr. Before he shared his work with the public, he worked at Stanford for many years as a main researcher. The research that led to his conclusions was done at Stanford, Boston University, Harvard, and other places around the world. The two of them came to the same conclusion, but he did it the other way around. The child was getting help from Dr. Lake. Dr. Newton was on the path for receiving. Their conclusions are the same. It is possible to fix the receiving path. You can calm down beta overactivity. Alpha can be changed back to how it was before. When it does, your inner child, who woke up with the first wave, will finally have a way to get what was always meant for her. The second tool takes care of this. The genius song makes the child's mind better. For the child to receive, the next tool clears the way. These steps must be taken in order. The first wave wakes her up. The second wave lets her grab what comes next. If you act like a child, you will get the kingdom. In the language of the old teaching, that's the whole structure. The child came first, then the family. The wealth signal is the name of the second tool. The sound is also digital and lasts for 5 minutes. You put on headphones and listen. The guided part in the audio is called the 9-word wealth script, and it comes from a Hindu technique that is more than 300 years old. People used this method because they knew, long before modern brainwave research, that there is a certain way to talk that gets around the part of the brain that doesn't like receiving. Smart changes to brain energy that calms beta and brings back alpha are how the wealth signal works. The sound gently shifts your nervous system from being stressed to being open to receiving. Researchers call neural rigidity a state of being stuck in the thalamus, a part of the brain where the receiving path is most easily blocked. The 9-word script gets around this. This tool was made by Dr. Newton after more than 30 years of research at Stanford, Boston University, Harvard, and other places. His work is not the same as Dr. Lake's work. Not the same doctor. Two different kinds of work lives. Two different energies were looked at. They never did anything together. Each of them came to their own conclusion that there are two waves, not one, in the way that receiving works. After you've brought back your inner child, what does the wealth signal really do for you? It makes the way clear. It calms down the part of your brain that has been sending messages of lack for years. It stops the stress signal that was stopping you from receiving. The kingdom starts to flow like when a father gives his child a gift, without them having to do anything or prove anything. The path connects you to what is yours. That bridge stays open thanks to the wealth signal. Don't think that money will fall from the sky the morning after you listen. I'm not in that line of work. I'm telling you that the way you receive, which has been blocked for most of your adult life, can be fixed. The fix starts with the first session, and gets stronger as you use it more. There is a real shift. You can measure the shift. Over many years and thousands of users, the change has been recorded. If you buy the wealth signal, Dr. Newton may give you one more boost at the same time. That's how he speeds up reception for people whose lives are ready for the path to get wider. Take it if your spirit tells you to. If not, the first one is fine. Forget about it. I'll tell you about two people who have been through this. A while ago, Marlene, a woman who had used the genius song, got in touch. So that she doesn't find out I'm lying about my name. She was creative when she was younger. She was the type of woman who would draw all the time. Start projects she couldn't stop thinking about. And have ideas that had to come to life in the middle of the night. All of that was over by the time she was 47. The drawing was over. The projects were not finished. Instead of a chorus of ideas, the thoughts in the night had turned into a low hum of worry. She told me that she felt like the version of herself that she used to make had left the house one day and never came back. This song was used by her for 3 weeks. Around the beginning of the 4th week, she told me that on Sunday mornings, she sat down at her kitchen table and drew for 2 hours straight. It had been 11 years since she drew. The drawings weren't very good. You couldn't buy them. They cared about her. And the part of her that she thought had left the house came back in. She had become a child again. I want to tell you about another woman. She'll be called Dawn. She had been taking care of an elderly parent for almost 5 years. That was her little side business. She tried to make it bigger, but it never really took off. She had been hoping for a change in her money for so long that she almost forgot to expect one. For about a month, she used the wealth signal. She told me it wasn't the money that changed things first. What first changed was the heavy feeling inside. She said that the constant worry that had been going on behind every choice finally stopped. The second month then saw 3 events follow one after the other. For a long time, a payment was late. A new client came to her without being asked, and gave her a project that made her monthly income double. Someone in her family, who owed her money for years, gave it back to her, without being asked. Not one of these was exciting. From the outside, none of them looked like miracles. She said that they felt like the path was finally opening up from the inside. I share these because everyone has seen them before. They show what happens when the right kind of energy is brought back at the right time, and in the right order. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit Community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Now I'm going to talk about a few things that are probably on your mind. Things you might not have said out loud, but are thinking as you listen. Some of you are thinking what I'm thinking. I have done things like this before, you think. I have used apps to help me meditate. I have taken courses in visualizing things. I have tried listening to brainwaves. They didn't make my life better or worse. I think this is just a different version of the same thing. I want to respect that. When you try tools and they don't work, you feel disappointed. This feeling is real and shouldn't be ignored. There are two things that make this different, though. The first reason is the way it works. Your brain changes from the inside out when you meditate, do yoga, or listen to healing sounds. They move slowly. They depend on how disciplined you are, and most of us can't do that for years, while also having a lot going on in our lives. That's not how the genius song and the wealth signal work. Brain entrainment and frequency calibration are two methods they use to work on your brain from the outside. You don't have to work hard to get the shift out of your nervous system. It just happens. It's like the difference between trying to get warmer by willpower and walking into a room that is already warm. The second is just less work. The second reason is the order. Almost every tool you've used so far has only used one type of energy. It went after either alpha or gamma or relaxation or visualization by itself. None of them dealt with both waves of what was wrong, or dealt with them in the right order. The two-wave stack is set up in order. The kid wakes up first. The path starts second. That's what makes it different from other things you've tried. How things work is the order. I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds too good to be true. It's good to be hesitant like that. That hesitancy has kept you from making many bad decisions during many tough times in your life. I'm not telling you to get rid of your doubt. Please look at what the facts have to say. Two different groups of researchers, working on different questions at universities, on different continents, came to the same conclusions about brain energy and receiving. The facts are true. There are studies. There are thousands of people who have used these tools. These sounds have been used by almost 38,000 chosen ones in both phases. Not even 5% of them return them. The numbers don't need faith to tell a story. Based on what always happens, when the right energies are brought back in the right order, the numbers tell a story. Some of you might be thinking, this will cost money I don't have. I would never make fun of your money problems. I don't know what your bills are. I'm not sure what the people who depend on you want from you this season. I can tell you that the way it's set up will take into account where you are starting from, no matter how much money you spend when you get to the page that shows you the paths. There's a small place to begin. It's a longer journey altogether. No matter what you decide, there's a guarantee that takes away the risk. All of that will be covered soon. Now I'm going to answer the question that has been asked the most. It's the question I know some of you are asking. Why two? This is the question almost everyone asks when they see a set of two products instead of one. It should only be one tool, right? It's okay to be curious. I'll try to make this answer as clear as possible. The genius song is aimed at gamma. Alpha is what the wealth signal is after. Two very different kinds of energy. There are two very different issues with your nervous system. No single tool has been made that is broad enough to effectively target both. The two energies are not next to each other, which is why, on the brainwave spectrum, they are not next to each other. They're in different places and react to different things. You need two different tools, each made for a different purpose, to deal with both. There is something else, and that's the part that really hits home for those who have been chosen. If an adult who is still a child uses the wealth signal by itself, it doesn't work the way it was meant to. You can open the path for receiving, but what comes through it can't be held. If the soul receiving is still in adult survival mode and doesn't have an inner child alive. As an adult, you take what you're given, act it out, and then lose it because you don't have the inner child to really be amazed by it and hold it as a gift. The genius song doesn't fix the whole problem by itself. The kid wakes up. She is back to life inside of you. But she can't reach for what's hers, because the path to receiving is still closed. She is awake but can't receive. That hurts in its own way. That's why the order is important. The child came first, then the family. You must become like little children to receive the kingdom. A teacher said a long time ago. Few people knew that he was talking about an energy sequence. People who are just open don't get to enter the kingdom. The kingdom comes to those who have first become children, and then made a way for children to receive it. Start with the first wave, if you can only afford one right now. Start by getting the child's mind back. The guests will arrive when you're ready. The sky won't punish you for picking the order that works for your life. It takes into account all starting points, the way it's set up. But for most chosen people who have come to this unique time, the path that completes the work is the full path, with both waves going in order. So, this is what you see, 3 ways. The genius song is the only thing that can be restored on the first path. This is the official place to begin. People who have been chosen feel like their inner child has shut down more than anything else. Because their life hasn't had any magic in a long time. They want it back more than anything else. If that sounds like you, this path is all you need to start. Only the first wave is real, and so is what it brings back. You become a child again. Curiosity comes back. The darkness starts to get better. The respected place to start the restoration process is a real start. The second path only lets you receive the wealth signal. This is the uncommon way to go. That person has been chosen. Their spiritual practice is already very strong, and their inner child has stayed very present over the years. But they feel like the world has blocked the way for what is meant to be theirs to come to the world. This isn't the most picked ones. Most of us have lost both the mind of a child and the way to receive. One small group, though, whose child's mind has stayed alive, only needs the second wave. You can also go that way if it feels right to you. On the third path, both audios and waves are fully restored. The whole inner child switch. Most of the chosen ones we work with choose this path because they know that both have been kept hidden for years, and that opening one, without the other, is only half the journey. The genius song brings out the child in you. It is possible for her to get what was promised to her, because of the wealth signal. If you act like a child, the kingdom will be yours. You are not being pushed toward the third path. I'm being clear about what the structure is. Getting better and restoring each other make each other stronger. They don't just add up. The child's mind woke up, but the path to manifestation is still closed, so it is only half restored. It's the child waking up but not being able to get. Most chosen ones know they need both, when they really think about where they are. If your spirit is drawn to the whole journey, that's a sign you should pay attention to. If your spirit tells you to start with restoration alone, that's also a sign you should pay attention to. There is room for all three paths. The page with them is set up so that you can see all three of them and get all the information you need to make your choice. Here's one more reason why now is important before you go to that page. You can't receive anything during this time, because the stress signal is blocking your path. This is the case every day. Every day that the decline effect keeps getting weaker, your inner child stays a little less quiet. These two don't stay the same. They get stronger. Under the surface of your daily life, every day that you have to deal with a slowed down nervous system trains it to stay that way. When patterns last longer, they get stronger. When patterns are deep, it takes more work to start restoring them. There is a you from a few months from now that has already been walking the new path. Please picture that version of yourself for a short time. She finally heard a child's voice in her laugh after years of not hearing it. Because the path was blocked, she missed what was meant for her, but caught it anyway. The energy that she used to use to drive her has been replaced by the energy of receiving. When that version of you thinks back to this message, and this exact moment, it's when the path changed. Not because the moment was magical by itself, but because you chose to take advantage of what was being offered at that very moment. You don't have to rush through this special time. You can only tell that it's open. Before I send you to the page, I need to give you one more thing. There are fakes out there. This needs to be named, because it's real, and the chosen ones who have read this far deserve to know the truth about how to find what is really being offered. People online have sold audios with the names, the Genius Song, and the Wealth Signal, that are not related to what Dr. Lake and Dr. Newton made. Audios that don't use real binaural technology to entrain the brain. Audios without the carefully crafted brain power. Audios that are just recorded sounds with similar names to trick people who aren't paying attention. You won't be able to find the real tools on Amazon. They're not on Spotify. They are not on any general audio platform. They're not there. The originals can only be bought through the link below this message. They come with all the bonuses and the full technology. You can also get a 90-day money-back guarantee. There is a link in the text. There is a link in the first post. Everywhere. Both will lead you to the same place. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because what's being given away now is too valuable to lose to a fake. Go to where the tools are kept. Skip the rest of the place. Let me ask you to do something now, but please do it slowly. You will leave this message in a moment, and go to where the three paths are shown. Take a slower breath than the one you're taking now before you do that. Relax your shoulders just a little. If it feels good, put your hand in the middle of your chest. If not, leave your hands where they are. We are not making a price choice. That's important for you to hear, because the part of you that normally judges purchases will try to take over as soon as you get to the page. You are not being asked to pick that part. That's not the part you're asked to pick. The part you have to pick is the person who guards your own threshold. I gave you this name on the first day. Can I afford this? The guard doesn't ask, which path is mine? Asks the guard. There is room for all three paths. There is no wrong answer. There is real restoration. There is real reception. The whole journey is real. Your spirit will know which one you are in no matter what. You already know what you need to do. You don't need to practice a defense. You already know what to do. The page is just where what you know meets the real world. The three paths are listed below in the first comment and the description. Both have the same opening that leads to the same building. Go through the door that says, you. The third path is for you if your spirit wants to make things whole again. If your spirit wants to start with just restoration, that's the first step. The second path is there for you if your spirit is one of the few that truly wants to receive things. The first comment below has all three of them. There is a door that calls you. If your spirit isn't yet drawn, stay here with me. You can make either choice. During this time, you don't need to buy anything. It only needs you to be there. You may have moved to the spot where the three paths are. You might not have. Either one is fine. This unique time doesn't base your worth on what you bought. It only meets you in the choice that your spirit was free to make. You decide what to do next, even if your hand hasn't moved yet. Last but not least, I have been keeping one more part of what has been going on these 3 days from you. You had to go through everything else first, so you would be ready to hear it right, not because it was a secret. It would have been a catchphrase if I had said it at the start of this message. It can now land as what it really is. I want to go back to the time of silence I talked about at the start of this message. Think about it one more time. The peace and quiet you've had for weeks or even months. So quiet it seemed like there was nothing there. When you were being honest, the quiet made you wonder if things would ever change again. In the early hours of the first day, we both came up with the name. There was something in the quiet. The quiet was the group. I want you to stand in that understanding again, but this time from a different spot. A spot that you can only reach after going through the doors of understanding, crossing, and completion. A place where only the chosen ones who have listened to this whole message will be able to hear it. This is the most basic level of what is going on these 3 days. These 3 days aren't just for you. These 3 days let me see through you. Think about that sentence. There is nothing coming into your life from the heavens. The sky is showing that what was being sent was actually you the whole time. What was being ready was what you are becoming. The shift is not outside of you. You are the shift. It didn't cost you a long month to get to the gift. Every long month behind you, the gift was becoming itself. You were what was being made. You were what was being made. You were what was getting close to the edge. It wasn't as quiet as a road that was empty. The quiet was the sound of a soul being shaped into someone who can handle what is coming. You thought that what was waiting was getting ready. They were training for what you thought was a delay. You weren't getting what you thought you were getting. You were getting yourself. There hasn't been any special time to drop anything into your hands. You've been getting back to yourself with this special time. That part of you that was always meant to be a part of the rest of your life. The one where she's sure she was named for this now. That version no longer needs permission to get what was always hers. In Pharaoh's court, Joseph didn't get anything. Joseph brought Joseph back. Over the course of 2 years, the days had taken away every smaller part of himself. On the day that the cell was no longer a cell, he emerged as the man he had been becoming the whole time. This offer wasn't a gift. The promotion was the gift's last chance to see itself clearly. You are being changed in the same way. On the first day, I learned how to open the door. On the second day, the load was crossed. On the third day, the seal is put on. The door behind you is not being locked, though. You are the thing that is being sealed. You as an adult who is sure she was named for this season. The version of you that no longer acts like you believe, and starts really having faith. What you're going to base the rest of your life on these days. I feel something put on my heart for you again right now. And I want to give it to you straight. I didn't bring you to the edge to give you anything, beloved. I pushed you to the edge so that you could be yourself again. What you get in your hands isn't the breakthrough. What wakes you up is what makes the difference. You've had it on you all along. You've always been the one I came here to see. The first day was getting to know each other. The crossing was the second. The third part is the seal. My seal is not on the door, though. You are being sealed. The part of you that doesn't doubt that she was named for this is being sealed. Take yourself in. Take a deep breath. What just landed doesn't need any work. You only need to know that it was given to you on a holy day that most people will never know about. That is the only part of the door that is there. Deepen your breath a little more than the last time. Just one. You've been alert for a long time. You have already done everything you need to do with this message. Your presence alone has been an offering. You chose to stay through the parts that made you feel bad, the parts that asked you to think about tools you had never heard of, and the parts that asked you to be quiet when it might have seemed like nothing was happening. Your staying was the work inside. From here, there's no need to hurry. This message's last part is kind. Right now, all that's left is to close what was opened, putting down what has been stirred, the naming of things that have been seen. Through the rest of this, you don't have to do anything with me. All you have to do is show up. Let's tie everything we've talked about so far into one thread. That way, when you leave this room, you'll still have the thread with you. These past few days, we've gone through 3 doors. Through that door, the unseen world could reach into your life and let you know it was moving. The weight, shifting door, and the resistance of the second day both tried to make you think you were making the whole thing up. Where the inner knowing settled was the door to completion. People around you started to move, and at least one real thing in your life started to change. You and Joseph have been through the cell together. As you stood in the stone room, you could feel what 2 years of days do to a soul. In Hebrew, Vehi Beketz means, and it came to pass in the end. This phrase is the pattern of every big step forward. This unique time is right outside the door of the end of your stone room. The receiving plan has been sent to you, the time of peace, the quick question, the names, 3 parts. 75 minutes spread out over 72 hours. The recognition inventory has been sent to you, the list of absences. The name given to the quiet, the leaving alone. Between the two, they will help you get through the rest of this special time, and the days that follow. You've gone over why receiving needs 2 waves instead of 1. The decline effect made the child's mind dull, but the first wave brought it back to life. The second wave opened up the path that the stress signal had blocked. How things work is the order. The kid first. The reception came next. Also, you just now walked into the deepest part of what this special time has been doing the whole time. This unique time hasn't been about anything coming. This important time has been about you coming. The big step forward is not what's coming. The big step forward is people finally being awake to receive what is coming. It doesn't matter what day this is for you. The door is opening, and you have to walk through it. You don't have to get to the 3rd day. Because it's on the calendar. You can reach the 3rd day at any time, because it is a state of completion. You are at the start if today is the 1st. If today is the 2nd, you have already crossed over. As of right now, if today is the 3rd, the sealing is taking place. You can still be in any of these spots. It's not fair that one gets more than the other. This unique moment brings together the chosen one who is there. You're not the only one who feels this way. Chosen ones are going through the same turning point, right now all over the world. Some people can already feel the door start to crack on the 1st day. On the 2nd day, some people are walking through the doorway and wondering if they are seeing things. Some are on day 3, and are finishing the inner sealing in the small, everyday moments of an afternoon. There are different times at the same place, the same opening in different stages. You are one of a small group of souls who are being met right now, in the next 72 hours. Most of them you'll never see. You won't know what their names are. But the energy field they are standing in is the same field you are standing in, and what is being sent is alive in the field. If you got this message during the week, know that someone else is walking through the same window without seeing it. They don't know how to describe what is happening to them. They haven't been told that the quiet was someone getting together. They haven't been told that they are being timed instead of waiting. They're sitting in the heavy silence of a long season, wondering if anyone has forgotten about them. No one has given them words to describe what's going on. Tell them about this message. You'll know who they are without me having to tell you. This is the friend who has been surprisingly quiet lately. They are the family member who keeps getting close to finishing a thought, but then stops. They are the person in your group who has been carrying a weight that no one has fully named. They were ready when someone opened the door for them. Give them the key to the door. It doesn't matter how you talk to them. Send them this message as a text, an email, or a quiet message in the app where you're talking. Don't go into too much detail, send it. That's all that needs to be done. That recognition will be the key to getting in. Only the right people will see it that way. I have one more thing to say about the 2 tools we talked about before this message ends. For some of you, as this special time has come to an end, your spirit has been quietly drawn toward the genius song, the wealth signal, or the full restoration. You haven't decided yet. There is still a pull. There are still 3 paths. During the rest of this special time, they are not going anywhere. They are in the first comment and the description below this message. The door is open in both places. No matter what path your spirit tells you to take, when it does, walk through the door that calls you. It's also okay if your spirit hasn't been drawn yet. During this time, you don't need to buy anything. It only needs you to be there. That was already given. During the whole trip you have been there. The gift is your presence. There is no wrong answer. The rest of this special time is yours. You didn't watch a video. You could stand inside the window. You are not leaving the window when you leave this area. You will remember the window for the rest of the day, these 72 hours, and the days that will come after them. The door you went through with me is still open. The door now shows how the rest of your week will look. When you go back to your day, be different from the person who read this message. Be still longer than you were before. Pay attention to what has stopped being noisy, and what has started to settle down. Respect the people who reach out to you in the next few hours and the ones who don't. Let go of what is leaving. Allow what is coming to come. Keep your cool about both of them, because they are both the work of the same window. Be gentle. Get what is rightfully yours. You have been picked. The window is wide open. The seal is in place, and now, dear one, the silence is yours. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary, where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.